Hello, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Mahabir Narwal, Professor, Department of Commerce, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. The point of discussion in this module is values. Outline of this module are learning objectives, introduction, meaning and definition, characteristics of values, importance of values, types of values, work values, cultural differences in values, sources of values, significance of values in an organization, values across cultures, values congruence, values in OB. Objectives of this module are to understand the concept, meaning of value, to understand the characteristics and importance of values, to know the types of values and values across the culture, to know sources and significance of values. Now, introduction. Values are similar to attitudes but more permanent and well built in nature. Values are powerful but silent force affecting human behaviors. Values are stable, long lasting beliefs about what is important to an individual. Values are very important for the study of organizational behavior because values have an important impact on the perceptions, attitudes, needs and motives of the people at work. Effective managers have to understand the values underlying the behavior of the employees because then they will realize why people behave in different and strange ways sometimes. Thus, values are the basic convictions that give as a sense of right and wrong. Values help the employees in deciding that what they feel is not right or what is right, or we can say that values help employees in deciding that what is wrong or what is right. For a person, value may be useful, but it is not necessarily that value effective or for some time else. Some examples of values are obedience, self-respect, honesty, equality, etc. In the development of values, learning may provide an opportunity. Employees' attitude and the behavior are shaped by the values and the objectives are too influenced by the values. Say for an example, for the organization, without creating any problem, the obedient employees perform in an efficient manner. Learning helps in the development of behavior and values of the employees in the organizations. Now, I will discuss few of the definitions of the values. According to Rokiach, value is a specific mode of conduct or end of state of existence is personally or socially preferable to an opposite or converse mode of conduct or end state of existence. According to White and Badner, value is a concept of the desirable and internalized criterion of standard of evaluation a person possesses. Such concepts and standards are relatively few and determine or guide an individual's evaluations of many objects encountered in everyday life. Now we will discuss values and attitude. What are the similarities and what are the differences between values and attitude? Both are used interchangeably and have reciprocal influence. They are resistant to change. They are acquired essentially from the same sources and learned. These are two variables influencing behavior and cognitive process. Now let us have a comparison between attitudes and values. Attitudes are personal experiences. Values, it derived from culture and social norms. Attitudes, it represents predispositions to respond. Values, it represents judgment of what ought to be. Attitudes, it represents several beliefs focused on a specific object or situation. Values, it represents single belief that guides judgment and actions across situations and objects. Now let us discuss the characteristics of values. One is values are most central to the core of person. Second, values are resistance to change and relatively permanent. Third, values are fewer than attitudes in number. Fourth, values are transcend specific situations, persons or objects. Fifth, values provide standards of competence and morality. Sixth, values have two attributes, content and intensity. The content attributes stresses that a particular code of conduct is important. The intensity attribute specifies how important that particular code of conduct is. Importance of values. Values are important to organizational behavior. Following are some of the important points which indicate the importance of values. A manager's decision is also influenced by the value system and his solution to the various problems. The way in which a manager views the groups of individuals and other individuals in the organization are influenced by the personal value system. Value system influences the manager's perception of different situations. Personal value systems influence the perception of individuals. Values lay the foundation for understanding of attitudes and motivation. Behaviors and attitudes are influenced by values. If the policies are not according to the individual's points of view and values, he may feel disappointed, and this disappointment will lead to dissatisfaction and decline in performance. Types of values. The value can be divided into two broad categories. One is terminal values, second is instrumental values. Now we will discuss these values in detail. Terminal values, these leads to ends to be achieved. A terminal value is an ultimate goal in a desired status or outcome. For example, comfortable life, family, security, self-respect and freedom, etc. Instrumental values, these values relate to means for achieving desired ends. It is a tool for acquiring a terminal values. For example, ambitions, capable, clean, courageous, honest, polite, loving, logical, etc. Now, core value. These are fundamental beliefs of an individual or organization. These are principles that dictate behavior or action. These are guiding principles that dictate the behavior or action. These values help people to know what is right and what is wrong, help companies to determine whether they are on the right path in accomplishing their objectives. There are different types of core values. Life core values, fall in love with someone, indicate that they have same values. It means core values or internal beliefs that dictate how life is to be lived. Core values don't always have to be positive. Some examples of core values individuals might have about life. A belief that honesty is the best policy, a belief that trust has to be earned, a belief that family is of fundamental importance, a belief with religious institution, corporate core values. Companies having core values that help to define how corporate would behave. It is expressed generally in mission statement. Some examples of corporate values are a commitment to sustainability and environment friendly, a commitment to innovation and excellence, a commitment to good for everyone. Identifying core values. Companies or people publish their core values, which is the best way to identify the core value. A core value is a true value if it has an active influence and lives by it most of the time. Though there are countless core values, we have to choose the right one. For example, reliable, committed, open-minded, consistent, innovative, creating, respected, humorous, positive, optimistic, inspiring, educated, loving. Now we will discuss work values. Work values affects how people behave on their jobs in respect of what is wrong and what is right. honesty, fairness, concern for others, and achievement. These four work values is relevant to individuals. To develop new skills, it is important to seek opportunities and working hard. Positive results can be produced at work by sharing similar values. If the values of a supervisor are shared by the employees, they are committed to the organization and more satisfied with their jobs. Traditionally, on job choice decisions, the strongest influences have been placed by pay and advancement potential towards individual values, and organizations should pay careful attention. Cultural differences in values. To understand the cultural influences, values is very important because the challenges are faced by the organization of a diverse workforce. In Japan, loyalty means compassionate over time. You should stay late even you don't have any work to do, to give more support to your peers who are working late. In US, a person may not so much loyal to the supervisor or to the company, but that person give more value to family and other personal loyalties. Therefore, with these examples, we can understand other cultures tolerating diversity in values. To understand or work with diverse values, following suggestions can help managers. When actions of stakeholder violated or low compromise, then neglect to the business. Borderline actions with excuses should be avoided. Recognize and learn about other people's values. Open relationships should be conducted. Now, sources of values. Out of these, one is family source. The main source which influences the value system of an individual is his family. Some values are induced if the individuals get from childhood and remain in his mind throughout of human being. The child rearing practices that parents use shape the individual's personality. Religious sources. People receive confidence and strength from their religion. Religion comprises of a formal set of values which are passed on from generation to generation. But advancement in technology nowadays has undervalued faith in traditional religious beliefs and values. Life experiences. Mostly a person learns from his own life experiences or from experiences of others. Most of the values in our life are due to good or bad experiences we have faced in our life. An individual develops their values on the basis what is logical and right for them. Role demand. It means the behavior associated with a particular position in the organization. One must adopt the values which are associated with a particular role. In every organization, there is some formal and some informal code of behavior. If role conflict is there, role demand can create problems. Personal sources. Personal attributes like ability, intelligence, appearance, and educational level of the person determine his development of values. For example, if an individual is highly educated, high values will be inculcated in him by his school and college. If he is highly intelligent, he will understand the values faster. Social sources. Out of all these social factors, school plays an important role in developing the value system of an individual. From school, a child learns basic discipline. Other social factors which may affect values are religious, economic, and political institutions in society. Halo effect. It refers to the tendency of judging people on the basis of a single trait, which may be good or bad, favorable or unfavorable. For example, If a person is kind, he will also be perceived as good, able, helpful, nice, cheerful, and so on. Cultural sources. These sources include all that is learned and passed on from generation to generation. Culture includes certain beliefs and other patterns of behavior. Relationships of an individual are different in different cultures and within certain groups of society also. Significance of values in an organization. The values which considered universal are truth, responsibility, honesty, respect, and peace, etc. For better understanding, according to following criteria, values are classified: moral values. Society considers essential behavior and attitude for general well-being, coexistence, and order. Material values. These values are related to the basic needs of human beings like food and clothes and safety for the environment. Family values, the values which are used by the parents to educate their children, and these are the fundamental beliefs of the parents. Spiritual values, the non-material aspects to whom we give importance in our lives, these are the part of human need. Social cultural values, these are the values adopted from the society, like young people prefer changes according to the social requirements. Personal values, it is a combination of social cultural values and family values. We build our life on these principles which are essential for an individual. Due to globalization, it is necessary, or we can say that it is compulsory for the managers that they should be capable of working with people from different cultures. Values differ across culture. There must be understanding of differences so that manager can predict and able to explain the behavior of the employees in the organization who are from different countries. Following values account for a large portion of the differences in orientation across culture. Long-term and short-term orientation. Short-term orientation is the attribute that don't emphasizes on future. Short-term orientation emphasizes on past and present, fulfilling social obligation and respect for tradition. On the other hand, long-term orientation is that which emphasizes the future, and it is national cultural attribute. People with long-term orientation think more about their future rather than their present and past. Uncertainty avoidance. It is a degree to which in the country people don't prefer unstructured situation. They prefer structured situation. People have high level of anxiety. The country that score high on uncertainty avoidance, where decision making and rule of conduct are clearly documented. Such type of people like structured situation. They don't like indirect communication, rather than they like direct communication. Power distance. People with low power distance expect equal power sharing, whereas high power distance people value and accept unequal power. An unequal power distribution in the society which people accept is due to power distance. Low power distance cultures prefer participative management, whereas high power distance culture is preferred by bureaucratic or autocratic management. Achievement versus nurturing orientation. Recognition, feedback, challenges, and personal responsibility are desired by achievement oriented people. Nurturing oriented people concerned for the well-being of others and relationships. Nurturing oriented people don't focus on competition and personal success. They focus on caring and human interaction. Individualism and collectivism. Collectivists don't value individuals' goal, even they value group goals and group membership. Collectivism is just opposition of individualism. Individualistic people don't prefer to act as a group member, rather than they prefer to act as individuals. Individualistic people prefer their individual goal over group goal. Values congruence. Personal values affect the person, how comfortable that person working with specific people in the organization, and a person's self-concept is defined by the personal values. Value congruence refers to similarities of value hierarchy of a person to the value hierarchy of an organization. When the dominant values of an organization and the person are similar, it is called person organization, value congruence. Now let us see the relationship between values and the OB. In an organization, to understand the values is useful for managers because values influence the behavior of people. Values influence the behavior of individual in many ways. Values of an individual have set the limits for determination of ethical and unethical behavior for themselves as well as for others. If the values of an individual do not match with the value of organization, the individual can leave the organization. Values of an individual influences the way he looks at the organization's success. High profit earning by an organization may be an indicator of success in the eyes of an individual, but for another, the means adopted for earning profits may be more important. Values influence the way in which an individual looks at other individuals or group of individuals. Values become the basis of interpersonal interactions. An individual's perception about the problems faced by him is influenced by values. As a result, the decision taken by him to overcome these problems are also influenced by his values. After studying all the points, we can say that values are permanent in nature. Values help in deciding what is right and what is wrong. Values also influence the decision of an individual. It also influences the perception of individuals. Values are very important to understand the cultural influences because the diverse workforce in the organization is a big challenge. In an organization, to understand the values is useful for managers because values influence the behavior of people. Personal values affect the person, how comfortable that person working with specific people in the organization, and person's self-concept is defined by the personal values. Individualistic people do not prefer to work as a group member, rather than they prefer to act as individuals. Individualistic people prefer their individual goals over group goal. Recognition, feedback, challenges, and personal responsibility are desired by achievement-oriented people. People with low power distance expect equal power sharing, whereas high power distance people value and accept unequal power. People with long-term orientation think more about their future rather than their present and past. Due to globalization, it is necessary, or we can say that it is compulsory for the manager that they should be capable of working with people from different cultures. Some values are induced if the individuals get from childhood and remain in his mind throughout the human being life. Through experiences with people and institutions are the primary sources for acquiring and learning values. Now, points to ponder. Values are permanent in nature. Values are most central to the core of a person. Terminal and instrumentals are the two types of values. Work values affect how people behave on their jobs. A manager should be capable of working with people from different culture. Thank you very much.